This entire room is controlled by one ESP32. Walls, monitor, PC case, even this moon lamp, all perfectly synced. No expensive hubs, no subscriptions, just pure DIY power. Let me show you how to build this. In this video, we're building a complete smart LED ecosystem using ESP32 and WS2812B strips. You'll learn wiring, animations, web control, and even Home Assistant integration. By the end, your entire setup will feel like a premium smart lighting system. Before jumping in, let's understand the system. One ESP32 equals central controller. Multiple LED zones, wall strips, monitor backlight, PC case. Each zone can run independently or sync together. Here's everything you need to build this setup. ESP32 Wi-Fi brain, WS2812B LED strips individually addressable, 5-volt power supply, 330 ohm resistor, 1000 microfarad capacitor, wires plus connectors. Now let's get down to the wiring. Because we are controlling 5 different light zones across the room from a single ESP32, we aren't just chaining one long strip. We are setting up a 5-channel independent configuration. Here is exactly how our zones, GPIO pins, and LED counts map out. Wall lights, GPIO 5, 120 LEDs. Monitors, GPIO 19, 90 LEDs. PC case, GPIO 18, 60 LEDs. Ceiling, GPIO 23, 150 LEDs. Moon globe, GPIO 21, 30 LEDs. Before plugging anything in, we must establish 2 golden rules for power and ground. Power directly from the source. With 450 total LEDs across these 5 strings, the power draw is far too high for the ESP32's onboard voltage regulator. Every single string must receive its 5-volt power directly from your external 5-volt power supply. You must connect the ground wire of your external power supply directly to a GND pin on the ESP32. Without this shared common ground reference, the data signals will glitch, causing your lights to flicker wildly or not respond at all. Let's zoom in on a single string to see how to connect it safely. For each of our 5 channels, we aren't just connecting raw wires, we are adding 2 crucial protective components right at the entrance of the strip. First, the data line, DIN, connects from its designated ESP32 GPIO pin through a 330 ohm resistor before hitting the strip. Why the resistor? The data lines on these microcontrollers can experience voltage spikes or signal reflections. This tiny resistor dampens those spikes, protecting the first LED's fragile data chip from getting fried. Second, we place a 1000 microfarad capacitor directly across the positive 5-volt and negative ground wires right where they enter the LED strip. Why the capacitor? Think of this capacitor as a tiny, ultra-fast storage reservoir for electricity. When your LEDs instantly shift from dark to full brightness, they demand a massive, sudden gulp of current. The capacitor handles that spike locally, preventing voltage drops across your network that could cause the ESP32 to reset or the LEDs to misbehave. If you're running these across your whole room, like splitting lines to your PC case, monitor backlights, and wall, make sure you inject power at the start of each major run to avoid color dropping or dimming at the ends. Copper wires have internal resistance. Over long distances, the voltage drops, turning your crisp white lights into a dull pink or yellow at the far end. Injecting power directly to the beginning of each zone keeps the voltage perfectly stable everywhere. With our hardware fully wired up, it's time to bring this system to life with the software. For this project, we are stepping away from the classic Arduino IDE and moving into a professional development environment using Visual Studio Code and platformio. To get started, create a new folder on your computer, open your command prompt inside it, and type code dot followed by enter. This instantly launches VS Code right in your working directory. If you don't have platformio installed yet, just head over to the Extensions tab on the left sidebar, search for platformio IDE, and click Install. Why use platformio? Unlike the standard Arduino IDE, platformio handles all our library dependencies automatically, compiles our code significantly faster, and gives us advanced debugging tools. It makes managing massive multi-file projects an absolute breeze. Now, you can create a brand new platformio project by copying the precise setup prompt I've left in the description below and feeding it directly into an agentic coding assistant like VS Code Copilot or Cursor. Alternatively, if you want to skip the generation phase entirely, the full, ready-to-upload source code and configuration files are available via the GitHub link in the description. You can download it and open it directly. If you want to build this project from scratch or customize it yourself, let's set it up step by step using the Platform.io menu. Click on the Platform.io alien icon on your left sidebar. Open the Home tab and click on New Project. Name your project, select the Espressif ESP32 dev module as your board, and leave the framework set to Arduino. Click Finish, and Platform.io will automatically generate your professional project file tree on the left side. Step 1 is configuring our environment dependencies. Open the platformio.ini file located at the root of your project folder. Delete whatever is in there and paste our configuration block from the description. This config file does something crucial. It tells Platform.io to prepare LittleFS for our flash memory layout, sets our serial monitor baud rate to 111250000, and automatically downloads the exact correct versions of the FastLED and Arduino JSON libraries when we compile. No manual library searching required. Next, expand the SRC directory and open up main.cpp. Wipe out the default template code entirely and copy and paste the massive source code block I provided. This file contains our Wi-Fi handlers, our animation engine, the multi-zone mapping routines, and our custom JSON API server processing loops. Now, let's set up the storage structure for our web user interface. Head back out to the main top-level parent folder. Right-click the root project workspace and create a new folder named exactly data in lowercase. This specific directory name is what Platform.io targets when building our standalone storage partition. Inside this new data folder, create your main web page file named index.html. Then create a subfolder named assets. Inside assets, add two files: app.css for styling your responsive buttons and sliders, and app.js to handle the asynchronous network transmissions between your device and the ESP32. Copy and paste the respective front-end code pieces into each file. By splitting these away from our firmware binary, you can modify the colors, icons, and layout of your smart home dashboard anytime without rebuilding your core C++ code. To keep this video moving, I won't bore you by reading the code line by line. Instead, let's look at the 5 core engines that make this system incredibly powerful and snappy. 1. Smart Wi-Fi and MDNS. The ESP32 connects directly to your home network. If your Wi-Fi ever goes down, it instantly spins up its own private hotspot, so you're never locked out of your lights. Plus, with MDNS enabled, you don't need a messy IP address. Just type http://rgb.local into any browser to control it. 2. LittleFS storage. Instead of stuffing thousands of lines of messy HTML, CSS, and JavaScript inside our C++ code, we use LittleFS. This treats a slice of the ESP32's flash memory like a miniature hard drive, storing our web page interface files neatly and separately. 3. Lightning-fast Webserver. The local server listens on port 80. The moment you tap a button or drag a slider on your phone, the web page shoots over a compact JSON payload to the ESP32, which parses it instantly to update your lights in real time. 4. 5-zone FastLED engine. The firmware splits the code into 5 independent hardware channels. Each zone, your wall, monitors, PC case, ceiling, and moon globe, tracks its own power state, color, and speed, running modern animations like neon pulse and fire simultaneously without lagging. 5. Home Assistant integration. Alongside the web UI, the code exposes clean REST API endpoints, /API/status and /API/command. Home Assistant pulls these to give you full dashboard control. It even handles automatic brightness translation in the background, matching Home Assistant's standard scales with FastLED's power limiting features for flawless automation and Apple Home Shortcut Sync. Before you hit upload, there is one critical step you cannot skip. You need to give the ESP32 your network credentials. Look near the top of main.cpp under User Settings. Replace your SSID and your Wi-Fi password with your actual home Wi-Fi name and password. You can also change the fallback access point credentials below it and modify your custom MDNS hostname if you want to access your panel using something other than http://rgb.local. Save the file, and now we are officially ready to compile. Plug your ESP32 into your computer using a high-quality USB data cable. Look at the bottom toolbar of VS Code or open a new built-in terminal window. We are going to execute 3 simple commands to compile and flash our device completely. First, type pio run and hit enter. This kicks off our master compiler. Platform.io will download FastLED, index our headers, verify our pins, and build our firmware binary. Wait until you see that beautiful green success bar.
Second, we need to upload our web interface assets into the separate flash partition. Type pio-run-t upload-fs and hit enter. This scripts the compilation of our HTML, CSS, and JS data assets into a flashable block image and pushes it straight onto the ESP32 storage disk. Finally, flash our core program logic to the microcontroller by typing pio-run-t upload and hitting enter. This pushes our main compiled code to the target chip.
All right, our hardware is wired, our code is flashed, and the system is fully alive. Let's see this setup in action. To open up your control dashboard, grab any phone, tablet, or computer connected to your home network, open up a web browser, and type in http://rgb.local. Thanks to the MDNS engine we compiled, you don't have to hunt down a confusing IP address. The local web interface loads up instantly, directly from the ESP32's flash storage.
Watch how fast and snappy this is. The moment I touch a preset, the data packets fly over the network and the lights react in real time with absolute zero lag. Because we wrote this as a 5-channel independent system, every single zone can run its own separate world. I can turn down the ceiling lights to a dim 10%, lock my PC case into a solid deep purple, and keep my 3D printed Moonglow breathing with a soft, warm amber light, all simultaneously from this single chip.
The local web page is incredible for quick manual adjustments, but let's take this project to the absolute next level by bringing it into Home Assistant for full automation. To add this to your smart home, we're going to leverage the clean REST API endpoints /API/status and /API/CMD that our code exposes. To bring our ESP32 into Home Assistant, we need to tell it where to look for our light channels. Open up your Home Assistant configuration directory and open your configuration.yaml file. Scroll right down to the bottom of the file, create a new line, and copy and paste the exact REST API configuration code block that I've shared in the description below. This script defines our 5 individual light zones as native template entities and maps their toggles, brightness, and color commands straight to our ESP32/API/CMD web path. Once you've pasted it in, save the file and quickly restart your Home Assistant YAML configuration to apply the changes. With the backend configuration live, let's build a beautiful control card on our UI dashboard so we can interact with our room lights. Head over to your main dashboard page, click the 3 dots in the top right corner and select Edit Dashboard. Click on Add Card at the bottom right to open the card selector menu. Instead of adding standard buttons one by one, we are going to use a custom layout block. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the list from the menu and select Manual Card option. This opens up a raw text code editor for our card interface. Wipe out the default placeholder code entirely. Now, copy the ready-made dashboard card code from the video description, paste it directly into this terminal window, and hit Save. And there you have it. Look at that. Your custom DIY RGB controller is now completely configured, fully integrated, and 100% live inside your Home Assistant ecosystem. You can now command your zones alongside all your other smart home appliances.
Thank you so much for watching. If this deep dive tutorial helped you master running multi-channel addressable strips on the ESP32, smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell because we have some absolutely wild DIY electronics, smart home builds, and 3D printing custom projects dropping very soon that you do not want to miss.